गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरोदारे जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरोदारे यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनतीरा वनचारे यमुनतीरा वनचारे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद निदाय गौर प्रामनंदे ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नस्तप्रियेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतं सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very man of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Sri Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service unto the pure devotees of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental song is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, Text 31, chapter entitled Pregnancy of Deity in the Evening. Sa vididvada bharyaya Sa vididvada bharyaya Tam nirbandham vikarmane Tam nirbandham vikarmane Nadva distaya rahase Nadva distaya rahase Tayado pavivesahe Tayato pavivesahe Sa vididvada bharyaya Tam nirbandham vikarmane Nadva distaya rahase Tayato pavitvesasi Sa vididvada bharyaya Tam nirbandham vikarmane Nadva distaya rahase Tayato pavivesahe. Mataji. Sa E. Viditva, understanding. Adha, thereupon. Bharyaya, of the wife. Tam, that. Nirbandham, obstinacy. Vikarmane, in the forbidden act. Natva, offering obeisances. Distaya, unto worshipable faith. Rahasi, in a secluded place. Taya, with her. Adha, thus. Upavivesa, lay. E, certainly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: understanding his wife's purpose, he was obliged to perform the forbidden act, and thus, after offering his obeisances unto the worshipable faith, he lay with her in a secluded place. Purport: it appears from the talks of Kashyapa with his wife that he was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and although he knew that Lord Shiva would not be pleased with him for such a forbidden act, he was obliged to act by his wife's desire, and thus he offered his obeisances unto faith. He knew that the child born of such untimely sexual intercourse would certainly not be a good child, but could not protect himself because he was too obliged to his wife. In a similar case, however, when Thakura Haridas was tempted by a public prostitute at the dead of night, he avoided the allurement because of his perfection in Krishna consciousness. This is the difference between a Krishna conscious person and others. Kashyapa Muni was greatly learned and enlightened, and he knew all the rules and regulations of systematic life, yet he failed to protect himself from the attack of sex desire. Thakur Haridas was not born of a Brahmana family, nor was he himself Brahmana, yet he could protect himself from such an attack due to his being Krishna conscious. Thakur Haridas used to chant the holy name of the Lord 300,000 times daily. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksuranmalitamena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Yudapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sangrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Visakan Vitam Sham. E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhano Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vande Nantadbhuteswaryam Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhum Nichopyat Prasadat Bhakti Sastra Pravartakan Savididvada Bharyayas Tam Nirbandam Vikarmane Natva Distaya Rahasya Tayato Pavi Vesahe. Understanding his wife's purpose, he was obliged to perform the forbidden act, and thus after offering his obeisances unto the worshipable faith, he lay with her in a secluded place. So we are continuing this very important subject matter on the pregnancy of deity in the evening. Somewhere or other, the living entities are not able to cross over the cycle of repeated birth and death due to this devouring enemy, which is meant to be a lusty desire. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text 36, Arjuna inquired from Krishna, Adakena prayuktamyam papam charanti purusaha anichan api vrishneya balad even yojita. Balad means force. What is that action that forcefully act on the living being even though they are unwilling to do so? And to that Krishna answered, Kama esa, Krodha esa, Rajoguna samudbhava, Mahasano Mahapapma Vidhi inam Vairinam. Is only the karma, the desire of the living being which have emanated, arise from the mode of passionate and later turn into vrat. And who are the living entities have got this problem? That been mentioned also in the chapter 3, text 38 of the Gita. Dome havrito vaner yadodarse malinecha yadolben abrito garbhas tadate nedam avritam. Every living being born in the world, those who are alive except the dead body, everybody has got this problem of this lusty desire. And one of the devotees, when he saw Prabhupada, he told Prabhupada, you don't have lusty desire. Prabhupada said, there must be something wrong with you. For every living being in the world, they are endowed with this material body which has got a certain demands. And Krishna said, just like the fire is covered by the smoke, the dust, the mirror is covered by the dust. Similarly, the embryo is covered by the womb of a mother. Every living being who are born in this world, they somewhere or other going through the cycle of birth and death due to this ultimate problem of life which has been said here, sex life. And the Lord continued to say, Avratam jnana yeteno jnanino nitya vairina kama rupena kaunteya duspurena nalena cha. The real intelligence of the living being is being covered by this lusty desire. And where the lusty desire says, Indriyani manobuddhir asyadhyasana muchyate eter vimohayati esa. Jnanam avrita dehanam, the very enemy, we are thinking that is around about, outside of us. The real enemy of us are already sitting inside us. And the Lord said they are sitting in the senses of the human being. They are sitting in the mind of the living being, and they are sitting in the intelligence of the living being. Indriyani parani ahor, indriyabhyo paramana manastasu parabuddhir, yobuddhe parastasu sa. But an intelligent man who knows the path of spirituality, they understand that the senses are more higher than the dull matter, the mind is more higher than the senses, and the intelligence is more higher than the mind, and the soul within the living entities is more higher than anything else in the body. Apareyam itaswayam prakriti buddhime param jivabhutta. There is the higher living personality is living inside the body. And if a person can understand through Krishna consciousness that they are not this body, the body is made of 24 elements. There are 5 Panchabhutas, they are made of earth, water, fire and ether. There are 5 knowledge acquiring senses, the ear, the eyes, the nose, the tongue and the skin. The 5 working senses, the leg, the anus, and then the genitals, the hand and the voice. And there are 5 objects of the senses, is the sound, the form, the smell, taste and touch. And when they understand there are 20 of these things, there are 3 mind, intelligence and false egos there. And there are 1 unmanifested element is there, that a mode of material nature. But when the devotee understands it is nothing to do with these 24 elements, they are beyond these 24 elements, and by understanding this, and they can cross over this cycle of repeated birth and death, they can defeat very easily the lusty, the great enemy of the living being, like Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, that even Kashyapa Muni is a great devotee of Lord Shiva, is not able to do. But a devotee of Krishna, Haridas Thakur, was not even born in a Brahmana family, is not even a Brahmana, but he was able to do because he was Krishna consciousness. So Krishna says in the chapter 4, chapter 3, text 43, Evam buddhe param bhutva samsayatmana hatmanaha jai satru mahabhavo. The great enemy living in the body can be vanquished by the spiritual intelligence. When our intelligence become purified, then the purification of intelligence is very important so that it can uplift our life to the mode of goodness. When you are situated in the mode of goodness, very easy to control your mind. So very importantly that we must be able to uplift our intelligence, purify the intelligence. In the chapter 18, text 51, 52, 53 onward, Krishna beautifully explains the problem of life only can be subdued, only can settle through total Krishna consciousness, through becoming a self-realized person. Theoretically, we may be very advanced in whatever way, but practically when we don't apply Jnana Vijnana Tripatatma, when we don't apply what we learn from Prabhupada books, then we won't have the kind of realization in us. When we don't have a self-realization, then we are subject to the conditional life of this material world. Then Krishna explains that there are symptoms of a self-realized person in the world. Buddhaya Visudaya Yukto Dristayam Niyamanam Cha Sabdadin Visayan Tyaktva Raga Dvesa Vyudasya Cha Vivikta Sevi Lagvasi Yatavakaya Manasa Dhyana Yogam Paro Nityam. That Krishna explained there are 17 symptoms are there who are able to cross over all the obstacles of this material life. Number 1 is that Krishna says the intelligence should be purified. Number 2, the mind to be controlled. Number 3, one becomes free from the object of sense gratification. Number 4, there is no attachment and hatredness in his life. Number 5, he lives in a very secluded place. Number 6, he eats little. Number 7, he is able to control mind, body and speech. Number 8 is always Krishna conscious. And number 9 is detached from the material world. And number 10 is free from false ego. Number 11 is free from false pride. Number 12 is free from false strength. Number 13 is free from lusty desire. Number 14 is free from greed. And number 15 is not accepting the materialistic way of life. Number 16 is do not falsely claim anything of this material world being his own. And number 17, those who are self-realized, is always very, very peaceful in his life. Sarubhama Bhattacharya told, Gopinath Acharya told Sarubhama Bhattacharya. Sarubhama Bhattacharya, not believing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of God himself. And that time Gopinath Acharya says, Swarna Varno He Manga Varanga Chandangade Sanyaso Krishamo Santo Nisyat Santi Parayana. This personality coming in the golden form is the Krishna himself. Krishna Varnam Tuisa Krishna Sango Pangastra. That the same Krishna who was in a blackish color, he now becomes in the golden color. He comes to establish the duality of life in the material world. The Advaita philosophy, the Sankara philosophy, they establish that everything is God himself in the world. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mityam. The Advaita philosophy, Sankaracharya says that the Brahma, the Lord, is true, but the material world is false. So somewhere or other, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to say that spiritual world is reality, it is eternal, the material world is temporary, the soul is eternal, the body is temporary, and the material world is combined of duality. There is happiness, there is distress, there is gain, there is loss. So there is a duality of the world. Mahaprabhu comes to educate the living entities. And Gopinath Acharya says that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always peaceful in his life. So in this way, for us to overcome the problem of life, especially the flow of this material desire, can be easily conquered if we can understand that Krishna consciousness is the only way to overcome all the problem of life, even buddhi param buddhva. And that Krishna consciousness is already within our own heart, and it can be simply, we can revive this Krishna consciousness. There are many processes are given in the Vaishnava tradition. Rupa Goswami gave 64 angas, the limbs of devotional service. Ada Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavid Grim Indriya Sevan Mukhe. Only by the service to Krishna our senses can become purified. And Rupa Goswami gave 64. Out of it, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that 5 become very important. That sitting and hearing on the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of the devotees, and worshipping the deity with great faith, and chanting the holy name continuously, and always be in the association of the devotees. And number 5, to live some time in the places, holy places like Mathura, Vrindavan, Mayapur, and so on. Living in Vrindavan and Mayapur is not something external that we come and live and go, that we are spending all the time in the Govinda restaurant. When you finish with the Govinda restaurant, you go to the Gauranga restaurant. and we go around, no time for Krishna consciousness. But Radharani created here, she has created Antardvip here, she has created Simantadvip here, she has created Godrummadvip here, she has created Madhyamdvip here, she has created Koladvip here, she has created so many Ritudvip here, she has created Janudvip here, she has created Mudrammadvip here, she has created Rudradvip here, and there are all 7 holy cities within this Mayapur of Vrindavan. There is Madurai situated within this Navadvip. There are Ayodhya situated within this Navadvip. And there also Haridwar situated here, Kanchi situated here, Kasi situated here, Avanti situated here, and Dwaraka situated here. When we are not conscious of any of these things, and we must understand we are not living in Vrindavan, we are not living in Mayapur. According to Shastra, there are 5 kinds of Vrindavan is there. One is called Goloka Vrindavan, another one is called Bhauma Vrindavan, the third is called Dristinya Vrindavan, the fourth is called Riddhi Vrindavan, and the fifth is called Gupta Vrindavan. That Goloka Vrindavan is the place of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his own abode. And Bhauma Vrindavan is that where the Lord appeared 5,000 years ago, where their activities, the gopis, the cows and everything in the Vrindavan 5,000 years ago is beyond the time factors. That what we are reading in the book, Krishna book about, details, information of Vrindavan, the beauty of Vrindavan, the cows of Vrindavan, the gopis, gopas of Vrindavan. Today we are not able to see things like that, what we are reading in the book. 5,000 years ago when Krishna came, that was the time all who exist, that is called Bhauma Vrindavan. And after 5,000 years, and now we are going around to Vrindavan and Mayapur, and today we found the place is very dirty, and we do not see something like what we've been explained in the Krishna book. That is called Dristinya Vrindavan. That you don't have that spiritual eyes to see the real Vrindavan, Bhauma Vrindavan. So we are seeing only Dristinya Vrindavan. Some Bengalis are moving here and there, and some Brajabasis are moving around in Vrindavan. And number 4th is Riddhi Vrindavan. There is another Vrindavan is within your own heart. The Lord is sitting in our own heart. There is Krishna in our heart. There is Radha in our heart. There are cows and Vrindavan. Everything in our heart. Just like Mahaprabhu said, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Chadaya Kabunaya Sravanadi Chudi Chitte Karaya Udaya. That prem, the Vrindavan is also in our heart. And we should not forget about this thing. The 5th is called Gupta Vrindavan. Gupta Vrindavan is that self-made Vrindavan. Like Prabhupada went around the world, he has created a new Vrindavan in West Virginia. And Prabhupada created 108 temples around the world. And they are also known as Vrindavan, they are known as the Gupta Vrindavan. So when we come to Mayapur, go to Vrindavan, it's simply for us to remind ourselves there is also Vrindavan within us. When I go back to my own country, I should be able to visualize the Vrindavan in my heart. How the devotees were in the Navadvip Mandal Parikram and so on. How they've been witnessing the different places, the holy places. A devotee, when they go back to their own country, they visualize the Vrindavan inside them. And they create the Gupta Vrindavan. We're talking about the preaching about Prabhupada movement. That you create another Vrindavan in your own country. You create another Mayapur in your own country. So in this way we can be easily we can overcome the problem of life if you can become absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Tasmat sarvesu kalesu mam manusmaryam nidyacha may arpita mano buddhir mam evasyasi asamsayam. Krishna told Arjuna, always think of me with your mind and intelligence. and carry out your duty, surely you will come back to me. There is no requirement for us to give up anything here. Sometimes we hear some people talk the married life is Maya. Sometimes some people say the brahmachari life is Maya. Sometimes they say that sannyasi life is Maya. Nothing is Maya in the world. Forgetfulness of Krishna is the only Maya. Mahaprabhu said, Krishna boli se jiva anadir bahir mukha ateva maya tare deha samsara dukha. The cycle of repeated birth and death, we are caught into this cycle simply due to forgetfulness of Krishna. And now you remember there is a Mayapur inside me. You don't go back after a month, go back to your country, you forget about everything. Then looking forward to see Mayapur next year. And within that 1 year, we become, go through a mental torture, intellectual torture. We go through so many kinds of uneasiness, and our mind is not settled down because we are not able to see the Riddhi Vrindavan. There's a Vrindavan inside you. It will be revealed to us when we have utilized our time in Mayapur in the absorption of Krishna consciousness. It's okay when you come from your country, one day you can go to sit Gauranga restaurant, one full day you spend in Gauranga restaurant, one full day you spend in Govinda restaurant, and you do whatever you like to do. One day they said honeymoon period, they say normally. After that, it becomes serious. Because this is the place you get a special mercy from the Lord Himself. When Narada Muni met us, the Swarnasena king, and the king was very absorbed in the materialistic way of life. He's a nice person. He was ruling very nicely, but he's too attached to the material way of life. That time Narada Muni told him, if you are fortunate enough, you will be taking birth again in the Navadvip. The special mercy of Navadvip, he says, Krishna namak kare aparadera vichara Krishna balile aparadera nahaye vikhara. He says normally when you are connected to Krishna, you are chanting the holy name, and when you are doing offenses, and that will not make your heart melted. To become a devotee, your heart has to be very melted. There are two kinds of heart is given for the living being in this world. Do bhutao sargo like lukesmin daivam asura. There are two kinds of living being in the world here. One is divine, one is the demoniac. The divine normally they got a komalam heart. Komalam means very soft heart. The demoniac they got a karkasa. The heart is like a rock. So Nityananda Narada Muni told Swarnasena king that normally when you chant Krishna's name and when you do aparat and your heart will never melt and there also won't be any tears in your heart. But he says, Gauranga Nityananda nahi isabe vichara Namalaite preme dhana vahe asrudhara. But if you chant the name of Gauranga and Nityananda and your offenses are not taken very seriously, and Gauranga and Nityananda will allow the heart become melted, there will be tears in your eyes. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never accept if you go and offend the Vaishnavas. Mohara Anila Natha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while singing and dancing in the house of Srivas Thakur, Mahaprabhu stopped his singing and dancing halfway. He raised both his hands. He said that I'm come here by the call of Advaita Charya. I come here to freely distribute the love of Krishna to anyone and everyone, even to the dogs and cats. They will attain my love. But those who are offending my devotees, for them I will never give them the prem. So according to Shastra, 6 things are known as the aparad. Killing of a Vaishnava is an aparad. Talking bad about a Vaishnava is an aparad. Ill thinking about a Vaishnava is an aparad. Angry upon seeing a Vaishnava is an aparad. Not liking to see a Vaishnava is an aparad. And not paying obeisances upon seeing a Vaishnava is an aparad. And those who are living here, if they see that the Krishna's deity is made by wood and stone, it's just simply a wood and stone. They are the residents of the hellish planet. If they see the spiritual master, an ordinary person, they also resident of a hellish planet. And those we see the Vaishnavas coming from a different background, from a different caste, they are also the residents of hellish planet. And those who are thinking the water bathed the body, the Lord's body is an ordinary water, they are residents of hellish planet. Those who are thinking that the chanting of the holy name is simply repetition of some mundane words, also residents of hellish planet. Finally, if anybody thinks that Krishna is an ordinary person, they also are residents of hellish planet. The Lord comes in 6 ways to the material world to assist the living being to cross over the cycle of birth and death. The Lord personally comes here as Krishna. Number 2, He comes as the Diksha Guru. Number 3, He comes as the Siksha Guru. And number 4, He comes as the Purusha avatar. Number 5, He comes as the Leela avatar. And number 6, He comes as the Sakti Vesh avatar. Kali Kalera Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtan. Krishna Sakti Vine Nahi Tara Pravartan. Without being empowered by Krishna, without being the Sakti of Krishna, Prabhupada been accepted as a Sakti Vesh avatar, because those who are empowered by the Supreme Lord, they are able to spread the holy name all around the world. So in this way, if we are very careful about the offending of the devotees or other living beings, and the process of Krishna consciousness is very simple. As I said, Rupa Goswami says 64, very important. Mahaprabhu emphasized the 5 is very important. And there's a conversation between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, Samsara Sarpadriste Muchitanam Kalau Yuge Ausadim Bhagavan Nama Tasmad Vaishnava Sevanam. Out of the 64 angas of bhakti, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was told by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, 2 becomes the most important, he says. Ausadim Bhagavan Nama, always chanting the name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Tasmad Vaishnava Sevanam, always you keep yourself in the association of our devotees and serve the Vaishnavas. If these 2 things we can do very nicely, and we easily cross over all the obstacles and problem of life. So in this way, here we are reading from the beautiful story that somewhere or other Kashyapa been forced to indulge in something which is forbidden. So Prabhupada emphasizing throughout this book how the devotee should revive the Varnashram system very nicely, because good population is the very foundation, very principle for the peace, prosperity and spiritual advancement of this world. You can go and do your PhD in whatever ways you like. You may be researching and finding so many other new things. You may be very well educated, but if the population is not good, the basic principle of peace, progressive life is based on the good population. Prabhupada explained this thing in the chapter 1, text 40 of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna refused to carry out the order of Krishna. What was the reason Arjuna is giving? Kulasaye pranasyante kuladharma sanatana dharmanastam kulam Krishna adharmo bibhavate uttha adharma bir bhavat Krishna pradusyante kulasriya Srisu disesa Vrishneya jayate varna shankara sankaro narakaivam kulagyana kulayasya patanti pitaram yeso lubda pindana kriya. The very reason why Arjuna don't want to go and kill these people, and he has given a very valid and dharmic reason. He said by the destruction of this dynasty, then the family tradition will be vanquished. When the family tradition is vanquished, the rest of the family members, they become irreligious in their life. When irreligious become prominent in the human life, when irreligious become prominent in people's life, the human become polluted. When people are polluted, whatever children they produce in this world, all will be unwanted population of the world. So that is why they are telling this forbidden, that what I've acted by Kashyapa is not very good, because it's not going to create a good population in the world. So very important for a good population that man should be seeing into his duty very nicely. The women must know what is their duty. The life is not to compete among each other, whether you better or I better. If anybody better, they would have not come to this miserable material world. You got dukkha, you got samudaya, you got niruddha, you got marga. The whole material life in this world, Krishna says in the chapter 18-15, Ma pupetya punajanma dukhalayam asasvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatam abrahma bonan loko. Even Brahma, everybody have to go through the cycle of repeated birth and death. And the life in the material world is full of problems and everything is temporary. So it's not about you better or the other part is better. When there was a devotee got married, Mataji, she wrote a letter to Prabhupada, what is my duty? Prabhupada says that your husband is like a right hand, you are the left hand, Krishna is the body. Without the body, there is no existence of the right hand, there is no existence of the left hand. Always you keep Krishna in the center of your life, and the both ends are attached and they can help work together. One of the Alvar, he said, Tuppudiyare Adevadalam Sorvidattune Purivar, and he says that generally married life is not an easy life, it's a very difficult life. Very difficult life. But why the parents are pushing them into married life? It's not an easy life. When you are bachelor, you are single, you go anywhere you like, whether you work or don't work, or whether you're donkey life or monkey life, nobody bothers about these things. When you come together as a husband and wife, so much of sacrifice you have to do. So much adjustment you have to do. Foremost, you have to give up your own freedom of your life. So married life is very difficult. But Alvar says, why the parents are pushing for the children to get married? He says the time will come that you will become invalid in your life. You may be in need of somebody's help. You may not be able to take care of your own self. Somebody has to carry you, somebody has to bathe you, somebody has to wash you, somebody has to feed you. The human life is not going to be same all the time. The time will come you become invalid. That time you need a person to help you in your life, just to help each other. The parents are thinking it's important my children get married. But the Alvar says, I do not believe into this message. I only believe that, Krishna will help me, because when the Gajendra called upon Krishna, the Gajendra was fighting with the crocodile and he was not able to help himself, and finally he called Krishna. Even for the call of elephant you have come. My dear Lord, I don't believe that my wife will help me, my husband will help me, my friends, relatives, the whole society and nation will help me. I know you are the only person can help me. So I surrender unto you. But my dear Lord, then time will come, I won't be able to come to your temple. There will be old age will be coming into my life. I become invalid. I won't be able to come to your temple. I won't be sitting and hearing the Bhagavatam Katha in the association of the devotees. I won't be able to hear. I won't be able to see your form nicely. I won't be able to chant properly. The time will come. For that reason, my dear Lord, while I'm young, while I'm healthy, while I'm valid, let me chant your name unlimitedly. How much I can chant? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Let me chant, how much maximum I can chant. Let me go to your temple, how much maximum I can go. Let me take advantage of my life, hearing, chanting and everything. Maximize everything now while I'm healthy. But the time will come, I will become very unhealthy, I won't be able to come to your temple. My dear Lord, you are very playful. We have witnessed your childhood pastime in Yasoda and Vrindavan. You are very, very playful. Sometimes we may be forgotten that I've come to your temple so many times. I've chanted your name so many times. Please write it down, please write it down, please write it down. When I'm invalid, I'm not able to do. Please open back and read. I'm your good devotee. So in this way, good population is the basic principle for the human society to become happy and peaceful. So in the Manusmriti, it will be mentioned there are 12 kinds of children are born in this world. Not everybody is the same. Manu, the father of mankind, he says there are 12 kinds of children are born in this world. One is called Aurasan, second is called Setrajan, third is called Tattan, fourth is called Krutiraman, fifth is called Kudotaman, sixth is called Abhavitan, seventh is called Kanidan, eighth is called Sagodan, nine is called Kinidan, 10th is called Bahunarban, 11th is called Suyatatan, and 12th is called Parasavan. There are 12 kinds of children are born in this world. How they are born? They are born from 8 kinds of marriages. There are Brahma Vivaha 1, there are Deva Vivaha 2, there are Arsa Vivaha, there are Prajapati Vivaha. These 4 marriages are recommended. And for these 4 marriages, you invite all the great personality, you hire beautiful all, you print the expensive wedding card, and you jubilantly you conduct these 4 marriages. Brahma Vivaha, a brahmachari who has come out from the Gurukulam, he has learned how to control, how to conduct himself very nicely with the control of mind and senses and body, and you marry your girl to a nice brahmachari. It's a first class marriage. The child born from that marriage will be able to deliver 21 generations of forefathers from the cycle of repeated birth and death. There are second is called Deva Vivaha. There are devotees' children, this devotee, their children coming together and get married. And the child born from that marriage will be able to deliver 15 generations of forefathers from the cycle of repeated birth and death. And there is the Arsa Vivaha, that it has been arranged by the elders, the parents, and when that marriage takes place, the child born from that marriage is able to deliver 13 generations of forefathers. And there is also Prajapatiya, the 4th kind of allowed marriage is that, also seen and arranged by the elders. And from the marriage, when the child is born, is able to deliver 7 generations of forefathers. So for these marriages, you have to invite the maximum number of people, all the great personalities, spend all the money, no problem. There are other 4 kinds of marriages. It's been said that you don't need to hire a hall, you don't need to waste your time printing wedding card, you don't need to waste your time inviting anybody. One is called Asura Vivaha, that you sell your daughter for dowry. That kind of marriages is, useless, because those who are getting married in that kind of marriage, they won't be able to deliver of their own self. What to talk about the forefathers? So Asura Vivaha, that your daughter has been sold for dowry. And Gandharva Vivaha, that the girlfriend and boyfriend talks. That is also not recommended. In our Vedic culture, they say Kanya Danam, you give your daughter as a charity to somebody who is a useless. Normally when the boys are irresponsible in the house, the neighbor will say, get your daughter married. No, get your son get married. If he married, you'll become a good fellow, responsible. So this is called Kanya Dan. You donate, your daughter to somebody who is a useless. So when you're giving a charity, you cannot give a charity useless thing that somebody have used one time and somebody used the next time, and third party is getting married. So the love marriage are not really recommended. It's the sixth of the Vedic system. And seventh is the Rakshasa Vivaha. That by force, the girl is not inspired, she's not interested to marry this guy. By force, they got married. That also not recommended. The eighth is called Pisasa Vivaha. While they're meeting, among each other, and he make the girl pregnant, and he run away from this, responsibility. And somebody found this guy somewhere, maybe he's now run away to Delhi, and somebody bring him back to Mayapur, and they get married to this girl. So from the 8 kind of marriages, there are 12 kinds of children are born here. And now the Shastra says, even though the 12 kinds, that the first is Aurasan, is that the child is born from the legal marriage, still is not considered very pure because that samskara, the purificatory process has to be done. And there are 16 kinds of purificatory processes given. One is called Garbhadan Samskara, second is called Pumsavanam, third is called Simontanayam, fourth is called Jadakarmam, fifth is called Namakaranam, sixth is called Niskramanam, seventh is called Annaprasanam, eighth is called Chuddakaranam, nine is called Karnaveda, and seventh is called Vidyaramba, eighth is called, 11th is called Upanayanam, 12th is called Vedaramba, 13th is called Kesaza, 14th is called Samavartana, 15th is called Vivaha, and the 16th is called Antyesti. Antyesti means when we die, the final rites to be done there. That is what Arjuna is asking in the chapter 1, text 41. Sankaro narakaya ivam kulagana kulayasita patanti pitaram yasam pinda. This pinda who is going to offer the pindas. That means now we've been living in that body for a long time. Now the body is already separated from the soul. The soul doesn't immediately live from this material world. It needs another body for the journey. The journey takes 1 year from here. He has to go to the forefathers planet, which is 560,000 miles from here. And it takes 1 year, then he needs water to drink, he needs food to eat, and we have to create a Pinda Sarira, another body for, and it takes 10 days to do this thing. That is why Prabhupada says for a devotee, everything should be done. On the 11th day, you clean the house, you call the devotee, give the feast, and do the kirtan and bhajan and everything. So Arjuna asking who is going to do this thing. So in this way, good population is very important. And for a good population, we have to do the purificatory processes. And we may see all those things are very difficult. Of course, all those things are very difficult. For that reason, Advaitacharya called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come. Kehe papa, kehe punya, kare visaya bhoga. People are only interested into the, the punya and papa activities in this world. You have to come again. Tulasi dalamatrena jalasya chulakena va. Very easily, simply brought Lord Chaitanya here. Through his devotion, take a cup of water, put a tulasi inside, and with a great devotion he called, Krishna re avahana koro sangena unkara Krishna Vrajandre Kumara. With a loud voice like a roaring of a lion he called, Chaitanya Simmera Navadve Pavatara Shimmagriva Simma Urva Shimmera Unkara. They were called very loudly like a lion. And Mahaprabhu coming, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. And the process is very simple. And by the mercy of Radharani, that we are here today, Mayapur, created by Radharani herself, so that very easily, simply in Kali Yuga, we can cross over all the obstacles and problems of life. Prabhupada says very easy, only way to do is that you should always absorb in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness will solve your problem. When I became a devotee, after some time my mother told me, my mother didn't have that kind of happy life with my father, but my father is very loving towards the children, but somewhere or other, husband and wife, somewhere or other, they were not able to live very peacefully. And sometime my father raised his hand towards my mother. So one time my mother told me, you are devotee now, and I see always you are very happy and peaceful, but I'm not happy in my life. Your father is always troubling me. So my mother asked me, please give me a solution what to do. Your father will create a conversation with me, and that conversation turned to become, fight, and your father, raised his hand to beat me up. So how to escape this problem now? You are devotee, please tell me. So I told my mother, there is nothing new we are going to say. Prabhupada says always, Prabhupada gave 4 things for the devotees to do. He said, 1, you take care of your health. Number 2, always chant Hare Krishna. Number 3, you perform seva for Krishna. And number 4, always you read my book. So I told my mother, you always chant Hare Krishna. I gave her beads to chant. And I said, 24 hours you try to chant. My mother said, how to chant 24 hours? I'll become tired. Then I gave her one Bhagavad Gita. I said, when you become tired of chanting, you read the Bhagavad Gita. My mother said, I don't know how to read. I said, never mind, you just look at Bhagavad Gita only. 2 things you keep in your hand, 1 Bhagavad Gita, 1 is chanting bead. So my mother every day chanting Hare Krishna, reading Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare, and she was not able to read, but slowly, after some time, Krishna gave her the intelligence to my mother to read. So my mother was very happy and peaceful. My mother called me and told me, oh son, now my life is very peaceful and happy. You please come and see. So I went to the house, and my father, he looked at me. My father was very angry with me. My father said, you want to become a devotee, that is your problem. But you made my wife a devotee, she's not even talking to me. Either she is chanting or either she is reading. There is no time for talking. Then my mother said, this is the greatest gift you have given in my life. So there is going to be certain problem in the world, it's a duality world. There's not going to be every time smooth sailing. There's going to be, being a brahmachari doesn't mean they have no problem. Being a sannyasi doesn't mean no problem. Being a grihastha doesn't mean no problem. The material world is full of problems. Prahlad Maharaj told, Hiranyakasipu, his father, Matirna Krishna Parato Soto Amido Pipatyeta Griyavartanam. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Text 5, Text 30. Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 30. Prahlad Maharaj says, Matirna Krishna Parato Soto. When you think that sense gratification is the ultimate goal of life, you will never understand anything about Krishna consciousness. Even by somebody telling you, or even by your own endeavor, or by combination of these both things, you will never understand what is Krishna consciousness. Nate viru swatam gadim vishnum durasaya artamanina. A human society, they do not know the ultimate goal is Krishna himself. And under one blind man is, leading another blind. And in the same Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 32, Prahlad Maharaj gave a solution to his father. Naisamati stavad urukramangare spasati ana pagamo yat artha He says, my dear father, you please give up everything. You take the dust from the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, and that will solve all your problem of life. In the Canto 7, chapter 5, text 5, Prahlad told again, when Hiranyakasipu asked, please tell me what you have learned from the Gurukul. And the first thing Prahlad said, Tatsadu manne suravadya deginam sada samvagya dhiram asat griya itfada papam griya andakupam vanam gatim. He says that, my dear father, those who have fallen into this temporary material world and engaged in the temporary, family life, they are like a fallen into the dark well. Only way for them to gain happiness and peace, my dear father, you should go to Vrindavan. And there is Krishna is there, surrender unto him. Very easy. If you got an intelligent devotee around you, everything becomes very easy. True or not? When I joined Hare Krishna, whenever I go to my house, my father will say, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? My father says, you want to become a devotee, your problem, but get married. So many Hare Krishna married. Why you are not getting married? For 15 years, whenever I see my father will say, when are you going to get married? So I told my father, let me go and talk to my mother. So I spoke to my mother. Please tell me. Jai His Holiness Sri Jayapadaka Swami Acharya Pat Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Pramanande. So I told my father, let me talk to my mother. So I told my mother that father is telling me to get married, what do you think? And my mother said, don't listen to your father. I listened to your father, my life is in a great trouble, never listen. So I asked my mother, are you happy marrying father? Who can be happy? No woman can be happy with your father. So I go to my father asked, did you spoke to your mother? Yes. What your mother said, never listen to you. So my father, I told my father that mother says she's not happy with you. And my father got angry. He said that, you think what, I'm happy with your mother? Nobody can be happy with your mother. So I told my father, you are not happy, mother not happy. Why are you pushing me into the thing? My father said, that is life. He said, married life means that is life. You go everywhere in the village, talk to anybody, every married man got a problem. I said, I don't want that problem, you keep it yourself. So in this way, life is not easy and simple the way you think, but it becomes easy and simple by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of our spiritual master, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Always keep yourself in the good association of the Vaishnavas and focus and focus and focus. That you understand that there's a Vrindavan inside you, and to revive that Vrindavan is that I must be always chanting Hare Krishna, always must be serving the Vaishnavas, and when the Vrindavan is revealed inside you, now you make a Gupta Vrindavan, make more centers, more temples around the world. That will benefit your life, that will benefit the entire human society in the world. Thank you so much for being here today. May the Lord give us all the blessings to happily and peacefully practice Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm glad you ended the point with the last thought to think about is chanting the holy names, because I see here in the purport how Prabhupada compares Kashyapa Muni to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur is born in a Muslim family. He has no Brahminical qualification. Kashyapa Muni was greatly learned and enlightened in all the rules and regulations, but he didn't know the point of devotional service. And he couldn't save himself. But Haridas Thakur could, because he was Krishna conscious due to chanting. And this really shows the importance of Chaitanya's mission, is it doesn't matter where we come from.
Yeah.
If we don't know all
So
the regulations,
there are direct and indirect connection in Krishna consciousness. The Kashyapa is also a follower of the path of Dharma, but indirectly is engaged in Krishna consciousness. Whereas, Haridas Thakur directly connected in Krishna consciousness, and always he been also in the association of the devotees that, blossomed this Krishna consciousness. It was easy for Haridas to do it so. So important, we are always in the association of devotees, chanting the holy name, and easily overcome the obstacles of life. Thank you so much for being here. I think they're going to do some other program in the field, and enjoy your rest of your stays in Mayapur. Have a safe journey back to your country, and let us, pray to the Lord that we can be more advancing in Krishna consciousness. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Praman.